3, 2, 1. You got it. Here's David Spade with comments on comments.
Thanks, Dana. You know, we get a lot of comments.
We do.
And sometimes I look at my Instagram, according to my screen time, 23 hours a day. We got to pump them numbers up. That's not enough. Let's go for 24.
Yeah, you are an Instagram whore.
So I go on there and we talk about this show. So we put like little clips and stuff like this.
I've heard about it. I can't look at it.
Dana doesn't look at it a lot. And I look at it on mine. And most of the comments are very nice. Sometimes they just say we look the same. Fine, we do look similar. But does it need to be every single comment? Look at the fucking other comments, commenters. Look and say, that guy sort of covered that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You read down 500, they look the same. Go, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? They look the same.
Yeah, they go, this is a safe one because 300 people have said it.
By the way, don't ding me. When I look, I could see 100. Isn't he the greatest? Isn't he just something else? Let me go on. Boy, is he good looking for his age. Good Lord. And then you sucked, never were funny, and then I'm dinged for the whole day.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? Because you look every day. You're a look-see type Instagram guy.
When I have time.
Which is
I do
all the
glance.
time. Yeah, well, you get all the, Dave is the funniest.
It is true that they jump out when it's negative, but...
What's a coldie one for you?
What was a good one I get a lot?
Never, bad one. Cold, chilly, never funny. Never found him funny.
You should have died instead of Farley is the most common burn.
I apologize for posting that.
Dana, I know you were drunk.
I had a couple of pops. at the Windy Summit.
I went down to the Jiminy Cricket. No, that's not
I had a Hickory Slim at the Wandering Eye.
the slippery noodle.
Yes, and with on ice up with a twist, and I did that mean tweet, and I
No,
take
but
it back.
Martin Short.
But Martin Short,
Never a
speaking of,
negative thing about Martin Short.
I've asked him specifically about his social media presence, and I said, "What about when people ding you?" He goes, "What do you mean? I just get all compliments." I go, "Marty,
I must say,
I'm very scared." We do talk to him about his brilliant Ed Grimley character, which is very interesting, and it goes deeper than some of the other podcasts would go.
Yes.
Because I see people cheating on us. I see people going on other podcasts. And then I listen.
Not cool, but sure.
Ours is a little better.
Hey, it's showbiz, that's showbiz.
But we're not competitive.
No, but Katie, my sister-in-law, Ed Grimley was her favorite character. She did an impression of it all the time. He's got so many other ones. He has, what were we just talking about, Jiminy Glick?
Jiminy Glick, which is genius, really.
Yeah.
Because he improvises it. He talks all about that. I mean,
David, you
That sounds
you
like
were
it.
in a movie where you're in a boat.
I don't know, I can't do it.
Yes, Jiminy. That could have been 6 of them, but yes.
Why do people hate you?
I know. Jiminy Glick is
He's the
little rough.
ultimate passive-aggressive character. Him and the church lady never did a movie. I'm just saying, for Ted Sarandos is one of my very close friends. We were cheap.
By the
Jiminy
way,
Glick meets the church lady. Writes itself.
I apologize that my collar's popping today. Oh, I also have this. And
I didn't know you could grow that big a beard. I mean,
wait till October when it's fully in. Check back.
Fill it in over.
I will say this salt's
I can't
taking
wait
over
to
the
see you all
pepper.
burly.
So anyway, here's Martin Short, you guys. We don't want to give too much away.
Yeah. If I were you, I would press play and listen to this. That's
think
all
they
I'm
already
gonna
did.
say. Oh, they already did?
Yeah.
If I were you, I would not press stop. And don't give me that 30-second forward thing, because we know and we keep track. We are 35 minutes, Marty. We're going fast. It's going to be so easy and so fun. Thank you, Marty. Sorry, that was Mark Gervais.
I know. It's uncanny.
I know.
Everything's harder than they say it's going to be, right? No matter what it is.
I love you too. I love the craziness of you two.
See?
We're wacky.
Now, Marty, I have so many questions to ask you, but we are out of time.
I have now that brings me to one of my observations that Marty's persona on talk shows.
Yeah.
You're constantly making fun of the idea of a performer being on a talk show live in real time as you're doing it. The artifice, the ego, the neediness, and you're the master of setting up. Conan, you're terrific. You were better last week, but the undercutting. And I watched you kill him with that. I go, where did that come? I mean, you're the master of that thing. What is that called? Is that like a Bob Hope move?
No. I think it was, the first time I did talk shows was Dave Letterman.
Yeah.
I started doing Letterman in 82, and he started doing it. And I just knew that he was self-deprecating and liked to be put down and hated the opposite. So that probably influenced me doing that.
Right.
I mean, when I went on Johnny Carson's the first time, I was afraid to do Johnny Carson for a long time. I pretended that I thought Letterman, I was hip and Letterman was hip, but that wasn't true. And when I first went on Carson, I don't do any of that. So it's really just more with my peers.
Right. And yeah, I'd say Letterman would love that. I mean, when I first went on Carson, and I'll ask you this question too, like there were two nerve-wracking moments. And I think the SNL, the light goes on, that one when I'm actually on SNL, and Carson hearing my name said by him.
Yeah.
And then going out, we had analog television then, and seeing him close up with that pancake, the makeup and everything, and his giant head and his voice. How did you feel?
It was completely surreal.
Yeah.
I also had to follow 3 segments of Betty Davis, so that made it even stranger.
Oh, that was infamous then,
yeah,
right?
That was
because
the first
then
time I was on.
Oh.
And but what I wasn't prepared for. I remember one time someone said to me, "Oh no," one of the producers, and I was maybe going to do it, and he said, like Johnny might look distracted if he glazes over or anything like that. Don't take it personally. He just has done the show a long time. And I thought, I'm just going to do Letterman, Then when I finally did it, he was so great. He was so in the moment doing that.
Mm-hmm. That big
He rubs his eye.
He got on a little roll tonight. That gentleman got on a roll.
Well, this is the genius impersonation of your life. But it really was. He was as great as I had dreamed. I mean, I used to, when I was like 14, I remember one time watching Johnny Carson. He'd been on for 2 years now. And he said something to the effect of, I went to LAX to pick up a friend. And I used to think, gee, what would it be like to be Johnny's friend? I mean, I just loved it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And middle-class kids, maybe even kids of celebrities, the transition between being a civilian and then you're in show business and actually on television, like for me in particular, watching SNL and SCTV and seeing you looking like a cousin from Ireland or something. That guy... We're from the same tribe. He's doing what I want to do better than I can do it. And I remember you were doing Robin Williams and you were going all over the studio and you climbed up a ladder or something. It really hit me. It was like 78. And I go, I want to do what that guy's doing.
It was, it was Robin Williams for Tang. Oh, thank you. It was all, he wouldn't get to the point of the commercial because he kept improvising.
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
And I remember I was a little nervous about it because, I knew Robin. I didn't want to offend him. And I remember saying to Joe Flaherty, you are the one that will make this mean or not. Because he was the moderator.
Right.
And he kept going,
right.
Oh, Robin. And I said, no, you got to tone that down, Joe.
Yeah.
Because Robin kept
didn't come off mean. I didn't think about that then. Good. But
now, Martin, when you did SCTV... how long was the gap before SNL? But did you really want to be on SNL? You kind of were on a big SNL type show.
Well, no. The show, SCTV was canceled. So had it not been canceled, I would have stayed with it.
Okay.
So I did a year and a half of NBC SCTV. Then we did a year on Cinemax. And then we were canceled. And then, so I finished Cinemax in April of 84 and was immediately asked to do SNL, which I started in August of 84.
Cinemax, I was usually tied up watching porn. I didn't make it all the way over to SCTV.
Yeah, that's an odd place for SCTV.
I know.
Yeah. Well, see, go ahead, Dana.
Oh, well, I don't know. I have so many questions. Could you do Ed Grimley today? I mean, is he mentally? Where is Ed? Where is he on the spectrum? Like he's. It's just an eccentric.
He's okay.
Just wonder about.
He's okay, right?
I think he's okay. I mean, he was just fascinated by life. I remember like in
He's happy.
1979, I was doing a TV series called The Associates, my first show in LA. And my brother Michael and his wife Liz flew down. And she said something to the effect of, "Oh, I was so excited to fly down and I changed my outfit 4 times." And I thought, you changed your outfit 4 times to go on a plane. I would kill for that innocence and exuberance toward life.
Yes, yeah.
So Ed Grimley, I always remembered that when I was writing Ed Grimley pieces. So like if the phone rang, he'd say, "Oh, gee, the phone's ringing." And as he went over the phone, he'd pause and say, "Gee, I love the phone. There's always such a sense of mystery, I must say." So even the phone, he had never lost the excitement of a phone. And that was the key. Now, does that make him a little challenge? Sure. Absolutely.
You know, my sister-in-law, Kate Spade, was back then, I wasn't on SNL yet, but that Ed Grimley was her favorite all time of any character of anywhere. And in Halloween, she did her hair up and loved it. It's so funny. And I think because she loved the upbeatness, and that's what I didn't really realize until you just said it. That's like the funnest thing to watch, is someone so happy about something and so joyous in life, because you never see it anymore.
Right, absolutely. Well, my favorite Ed Grimley that I wrote in SNL was the premise that it was Thanksgiving, and he was just so excited about Thanksgiving, I must say.
Of course.
And he's going around and he would open the oven. "Oh, look at the cookies. Gee, I wish I had oven mitts." And he'd burn his hand. But then in the middle of the sketch, he just said, "Gee, I wonder what the neighbors are up to." And then you panned over and he had a huge telescope where he'd spy on all his neighbors, which is a little, odd. And then he saw Ed Asner killing his wife. So then became Rear Window.
Was when you got on there for that year, it was kind of like for where I was sitting, just a fledgling stand-up and did some bad television. It was sort of an all-star team. I mean, Christopher Guest has become just mysterious. I mean, he's not. And he was on there with you, obviously. Billy. Who else?
It was,
you guys came together.
Harry Shearer, Christopher Guest, Billy Crystal, and I were given a 1-year contract. Kind of unheard of.
We'll see how it goes.
No, it wasn't Lauren. It was Dick Ebersol.
Oh. I don't do him as well.
We'll see how it goes.
That was your Dick Ebersol.
It was something.
When I think of Rich Little,
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But anyway, and that was the big four. And Rich Hall.
Oh wow.
In fact, maybe that was a 1-year.
And had you done sketch comedy with any of those guys?
No,
right?
No. I had never met them. I'd met Billy. In 1980, my wife Nancy was on Soap, so I knew Billy, and I was doing another series next door called "I'm a Big Girl Now" with Danny Thomas. So we were both bringing a lot of money that year, and we were both on sitcoms. Both would end that year, of course. Mm-hmm. And so I met Billy briefly there, but I'd never met Chris. I knew Harry through Paul Schaefer.
Mm-hmm.
When you did synchronized swimming, who shot that? Do you remember? Was that Signorelli or was that Schiller?
No, I don't know. No, it was neither of those two.
How was your, going on that show at that point, SNL, where was your confidence at? For me, I find that my confidence kind of comes and goes. There's times when I really have this, and other times you've kind of talked about that a little bit. You seem so confident.
I still have a pro and con list.
Mm-hmm. Which is
to do it or not to do it. And one of the reasons is we had a new baby, and I've been in Toronto. Now we had just rented a place in LA, and so I just kind of wanted to be here. So that was on the con list of doing it. Yeah, and one of the things on the con list was, am I going to blow it? Am I going to blow any credibility I have now accumulated from SCTV by just not being any good, or not being able to crank out stuff every week? All those things that you worry about.
You think you might be out of ideas or anything at that point, and then you got to start over, kind of?
Was it the combination of all of us working together, the cast of SCTV? It was just, you worried that this was going to be a great mistake. And in fact, the first dress did not go well. And I knew that there were a lot of eyes in that first episode because of the four of us. Mm-hmm. And my wife, Nancy, came around 11:10. And I said to her, this It's a disaster.
Hey,
And I wasn't kidding around. I said they should show another
like a rerun.
repeat from last year because we're not ready. And she was devastated. And then the show happened and it was a triumph. And what I didn't realize is what you could do between dress and air. You move that around. The synchronized swimming was already filmed and was supposed to be in show 2. They moved that to show 1.
Smart.
And it was suddenly, and I remember Nancy was saying, "You are such an asshole for putting me through." I said, "I swear to you, I just learned something." You know?
Many nights I would think that it's not going to go on tonight.
Yeah.
It literally, this will be the night. It's not happening. We're going to show a rerun. I'm sorry. It's 10:55. Lauren is giving, in very detailed notes, and they're going, okay, they'll go in there. They'll go in there. So it's always, like he says, it's a miracle it goes on. But I remember that year as being such a fan of, you had some incredible sketches, the 4 of you together.
Yeah, I remember Harry and I, the first 2 sketches we wrote together were lifestyles of the relatives of the rich and famous and synchronized swimming. And we shot synchronized swimming somewhere in New Jersey, and we're going back on the bus, the crew bus. And I said, no, we hadn't been on the air yet. I said, "Harry, how do you think we're doing so far?" And he said, "Well, all I know is that in this time, these 5 weeks in LA, I would have had a meeting or 2 about 3 ideas that weren't developed and nothing would happen from them. So at least we're creating product." So that was where we were.
That's
at
the bottom line.
Yeah.
It's sort of the good and the bad. Like, you do a movie and you got to wait a year, and it's like, to me, it's never soon enough. Anything we do, you're shooting a TV show, it doesn't come on for months. And then SNL is almost too quick. You're just hung over from the show and the after party. And then they're like, "Tom Hanks this week." And you're like, "Fucking A. We just finished last week." And you go, "What are your new ideas?" I got that blank yellow pad because no computers back then. And so you're just like staring at the wall going, fuck. And a lot of our hosts were like leading men type, were very similar. So it's hard to think of new ideas unless you have something new looking or someone's got a real quirky thing about them. Of course, if you're a shitty writer like me, so I just blank out and then I wait and hope they had to do a weekend update.
When I came on, they told us, and I don't even know if Dinah Minot was one of Lauren's lieutenants. Well, it's only got an 8-show pickup for the first time in the show's history. That's what we were told.
Oh.
That Bernie begged Tartikoff to give Lauren one more chance for dignity's sake. We had an 8-show pickup. Quote, "If you don't hit the ground running, we're out of here by Christmas." So
wow, I never heard that. That's amazing.
And everything I ever did got canceled or was never made. Every pilot, the Mickey Rooney Show, Blue Thunder. I did a movie with Burt Lancaster.
I could have predicted the Mickey Rooney Show. But go on.
I should have talked to you, but the stories are amazing. That'll be a whole separate podcast. Yeah. But so that was terrible. I thought for sure I'm going to be turning out the light. So I understand that fear.
When we did the show. 84, 85, Eddie Murphy had left the season before, and then I think
there's a hole
halfway through, and then Joe Piscopo was manning the ship, and then he left, and they didn't have a wig department; they just rented wigs, and I think the reason, Ebersol always called the George Steinbrenner year, where he paid us more money than had been paid before, and a 1-year contract. Because he didn't think the show would survive that year. So I think Lauren rebuilt it again into what it is today.
Oh, yeah. What'd you make at the beginning, Dan?
I made 4,500. I'd never done sketch comedy. So in sketches during the first dress rehearsal, when I got a laugh, I had to stop myself from facing the audience like a stand-up.
Yeah.
And I was in the cold opening and didn't know I was in the cold opening.
Did you hit your head or something? How did you know?
Everything was moving so fast. It was the very first show, and I at the church lane, all these things happened to me. All of a sudden, I was in 4 things, and the church lane got moved up, and then Brad Gray came in my dressing room and just said, "I don't know why it is, but it's your show. I don't know why it happened." And he left, and I was so nervous that I was just in those little dressing rooms in the mirror, and I just started swearing at myself in the mirror. Fuck make you to try to not be just terrified, literally terrified.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that your first show?
First show. Yeah.
Church Lady.
And this is 1986.
86. I was playing a pizza parlor literally in July doing stand-up. And then I was at Lorne Michaels' house for 3 weeks. And then I was on the show. It was all completely surreal. And Phil came in with me and Jan Hooks, and we were in the cold opening. So I was with two really great sketch players.
They're great.
And they were great on Church Chat. So they were, well, it was so awesome to be in sketches
Jan
with
Hooks,
Phil. And
everyone, raves about and is revered.
Yeah.
But not,
as good as anybody.
But not 1/8 of what she should.
Yeah,
because she was the funny. I mean, she played. We did a movie together.
Jiminy Glick,
and but we also did this very cool special, like in '96, and called the show formerly known as the Martin Short Show. That was the special.
Yes.
And she played Brett Butler. She was on fire genius.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And there's sketches where she was dramatic, all of a sudden in a sketch, and very super real. Yeah. And she was such a vulnerable spirit and so fucking funny.
She was so funny. I remember in Jiminy Glick and Lana, we it's improvised, and we were doing this scene, and she's talking. Elizabeth Perkins said something about her husband kept blow up sex dolls. Her husband needed it. That was it, about 5 times a day. And Jan said, "Oh no, you got to get a blow up thing." I mean, I've had 4 kids. Fucking me is like fucking a purse. And you just saw Elizabeth Perkins shake and bring the glass up so she wouldn't laugh. And I, of course, my next line went, "Dixie, remember we discussed the word mystique?"
Yeah, she was something else.
She was something.
She did Attitudes. Remember Attitudes? Anyway,
Sweeney
Sisters. But when I started, when you came over from SCTV, did they have a thing? Because when I was there, you wrote your characters down and you could bring them to the show, but they owned everything you wrote from then on. You were allowed to bring Ed Grimm. Did you bring other stuff over from SCTV?
No, if there was a rule like that, no one mentioned it to me, because I think I would have said, "Shut up! I'm doing what I created. This. I'm doing whatever I want." And I knew that Andrew Alexander wasn't going to sue me from SCTV. Yeah. Wasn't going to sue me, so I just did it. And then when I left SNL, like I created a character Nathan Thurm or people like that. I did it in other specials. No one's ever mentioned this to me.
I think it'd be weird if Lorne would call people out on that. I think it just
they changed the rule later, but it wasn't when I first got there.
Yeah, what was yours?
You could bring in your characters, you would own them, and then I don't know why, but I ended up selling Church Lady T-shirts, and then Lovett said to Lauren, Dana's making a lot of money selling T-shirts, which I wasn't. And I think after that, maybe we should get a contract, so I think it changed, which, I didn't really care. But I technically owned the Church Lady.
So if you were doing a sitcom appearance, guest appearance on a hit sitcom and arrived as a Church Lady, you'd need permission?
I would not for Church Lady, but if I arrived as Hans or Garth, I would.
And what if you... But if you did it, no one's going to sue you.
I don't think so.
Yes, no, I mean, Gervitz would be I don't know if it's a risk to it.
I don't worry about that stuff. It's just kind of funny.
Do your Gervitz again. Let's hear it.
I wouldn't risk it. There's another drop there.
I think there's a drop more money.
I think you're slightly onto something, and I mean slightly. I think the pitch is wrong, but the rasp is there.
It's going very. It's just one tone. There's a lot more nuance to it, but it's become.
We've done it so long.
It's a nice little run. Nice little run. Now he's listening to this.
Oh, no.
With his German shepherds all around him tonight. I thought it was really good. Marty, we love. We just.
Listen,
who is your?
Listen,
you do your Lorne. Do you have a Steve Martin impression?
I can't do Steve.
Steve's hard.
I'll do David doing Steve. Well, excuse me. Too high pitch.
Can you do Selena?
No, I can't do a lot of voices, actually.
No.
I don't have. Bill Hader, more than any human being I know, is, if he tells a story of those people, he can do every voice in that story. It's absolutely insane.
It's
but
insane.
I can't,
I think being assigned them was good when you're on SNL. Can you do this guy by this
I would go
date?
I remember on SCTV, someone had written a piece about, because Gore Vidal and Norman Mailer had gotten into a fight at a party. And so in our version, Eugene Levy as Norman Mailer threw red wine on me, and then it became a Tide commercial. We're both by the machine trying to get the stain out. And then someone said, can you do Gore Vidal? And I said, sure, because I had no idea. And you go home and you look at the tapes. And then what I would do is I'd type out a Gore Vidal interview. And then I'd look at the Gore Vidal script that the writers have written.
And match
and
it.
I tried like phrases that Gore would say, do that. And then I would have it that day, and then I couldn't do it the next day.
Yeah.
The day of filming.
I had John Malkovich in a hotel room in New York one night. Before I had recording, I just could do John Malkovich perfectly for like an hour. And then it woke up and I didn't have it.
I did him on primetime. Malkovich in the Middle. It was a sitcom.
It goes Travolta very easily.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Why?
Can't you tell that they're lying? No, then it goes walking too. See, it's a very slipstream. Can we talk about Jiminy Glick? Because where does that come from? I mean, when I did Church Lady the first time on SNL, where Steve Martin was sitting there, and they wouldn't let me say penis, so I had to write it like bulbous, gorged loaf, and I'm really digging into it. I'm new to the show. I think you were there. And gorged loaf and throbbing.
I think Chevy and Steve and I were hosting. Yeah.
But I heard I'm getting into it, just this and Satan and throbbing buttocks. And Steve under his breath said to Lauren, what kind of mind thinks of this? I knew what he meant.
That's a great compliment.
Yeah.
It is. So Jiminy Glick, what kind of mind thinks of that? I mean, it's so supernaturally funny. I don't know where did that start? How did you do that?
When I was doing a talk show for King World in 99, 2000, and I wanted to, so I remember we were shooting at CBS Television City, and I went like 2 hours of makeup, big bulbous nose, weird wig. And I went to Farmer's Market, and I was like handing out sushi with my hand, and people would say, can I have your autograph, Mr. Short? And I thought, that's kind of not what I wanted. But then I had made this film, Pure Luck, in 1990, where I got a bee sting and I swell up.
With Danny Glover, right? Yeah.
Glover.
No, Glover. Yeah, sorry.
Not Glover.
Not Glover. That's the other Glover. Yeah.
This is like and so here's the wonderful actor, Danny Glover. Anyway, so everyone said, I don't recognize you in that. So that became Jim, therefore the look, so I could be anonymous. And I had known a guy growing up on my street whose voice would go high and then low. If you stay off my lawn for a year, children, I'll take you to the movies. So I don't know, just that's
and just saying such aggressively cutting
that part was
things.
Improvised, and I actually don't know what that is, because Ed Grimley was very written, and a lot of characters I did were very written. But Jiminy was just always improvised, and I would see playbacks. We'd interview for 16 minutes, and then we'd edit down. The film pieces, not when they were live. And I would say, I'd say myself, I take great umbrage. And I think, I don't even know what it means. I've never used I take great umbrage. So it was a little bit odd, that part, in a good way.
Do you think that in the arts, so more of a... Anthony Hopkins, I did a movie with him once, and it bombed because everything I'm in bombed. This podcast we'll get it. Well, this will get the wordy or whatever award. But he said he thought acting to him was like self-hypnosis, and he would have a little Polaroid picture of his character, and they'd yell speed, and he would just put it on his look to it like that and take a deep breath, and then he'd be the character. So it seems like when you were doing Jiminy Click and improvising like that, it was it a kind of a form of self-hypnosis where you look at it later and go, you're in such a zone? I don't know. Does this sound too processy?
I don't know. I certainly wasn't doing the Hopkins trick.
Yeah.
You didn't have a picture?
And nor did Ally McGraw. I mean, look, everyone has their own approach to great acting. But I would say, Anthony Hopkins also said that the first thing he does is he reads the script 100 times or something.
Or 200, yeah.
Yeah.
I read it 500.
Yeah. You read it 500?
Yeah, and then I go, I still don't get it, but I'll do it. And Gervitz goes, I think you should do it.
I mean, you have no other option. That wasn't Gervitz. That was horrible.
Yeah, a little
Let's
rusty.
hear your Bernie. Dana, let's hear your Bernie.
Dana
I don't know if I have a good Bernie, really.
He's got Brad.
Nobody fucking knows nothing.
Hey, kid, it's just show business.
You know, Martin, those...
Bernie was the last of the great manager.
Absolutely.
I mean, in terms of a character and the way he talked and everything.
Wow.
You're going to be a star, kid. You know, that guy. And he was so lovable.
Yeah. He was the greatest.
And he was, yeah.
When I started SNL, those guys got, that Brillstein company was a big churning out SNL. So when I signed, it was like, I didn't really think I'd be on SNL, but I loved that they had all these people I loved. But when I got on, I think my first one was a writer. I didn't want to be a writer at all. They saw my stand up. I didn't do that great. And they said, we're going to hire you as a writer performer. I'm like, I don't want to be I'm not even a good performer, but I'd rather be that. And then I don't know how to write for people. Like Dana is like a better version of me. So I get it. And it's only $900. No. And then they go, but you get $1,500 if you're on. Like if you stumble in a weekend update, and they go, but don't write yourself on. Okay. And so then I did that for a while. Yeah. And then I got on as Michael J. Fox, like the second show, because he was in the news. I did something with Dennis Miller on an update. But I did it, and then I go, I got on, I can't believe it. And then they forgot to put me in the opening credits as featuring, and fucking everyone thought it was Mike or Dana, and I was fucked.
What,
and
you
then
never
I didn't
got
get on again for months. Never for months. I just stayed as a writer, and it was very hard, to be honest, writing for someone like Dana. Anyone that was not me, I could kind of write for me. I just couldn't formulate sketches, and I was doing too many scenes and sets, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you writing? I'm like, I don't know. You walk in that place to get a job, and they all just shut their door and go, I hope you die, because if you're on, I might not get on. So who's helping me? So I asked Conan or Bob Odenkirk or Smigel, like, they're pleasant enough, and everyone's being nice, but they don't owe me anything, and they're stuck in their own head. No,
it's a tricky place. I mean, my only regret about my experience was that I wish I hadn't done a 1-year contract, because I think, especially having already been known from SCTV, suddenly you weren't just on a series, you were doing a special every week, and you better deliver, you know? Mm-hmm. And so by the fourth show, I mean, I've talked about this, but I went into Ebersols and said, I want to quit. Can I get out of my contract? And, because I just couldn't. It was the every week final exam part of it. I was thinking, because SCTV was so ideal creatively, because you wrote for 6 weeks and then you shot for 6 weeks, and you wrote and you shot. And so if you didn't have an idea for 2 weeks, you could make it up in the next 4 weeks of writing.
Some sketches come in a little undercooked on SNL. Like they're not even ready. You're just like, we got to go. Like, let's do our best.
For me, it played to my ADD, I think, and procrastinating nature, to have those hard, fast things coming at me and kind of not taking it as seriously, not having time to ruminate about stuff and think about it too much. That was the upside to it. But the downside would be like, we didn't get it together and it bombed.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you are, you're going to be there for many years and this is just your job, something bombing is fine. Look, when I was on Second City stage and an improv set would bomb, you didn't go and get depressed. You just kind of went,
Right. It was definitely a little bit of it. Became a Game of Thrones in a sense. Yeah. When there was a cast behind the cast as well.
Right. Absolutely.
So there'd be 12. Now there's like 20. And when I came on, I was immediately just me, Jan and Phil and Kevin, and we were just all like 6 of us basically doing the show. So yeah, when you came, David, there was like a cast behind the cast, and they became, all stars, with Sandler and Chris Rock and so forth. Tim Meadows, yourself. Yeah. But yeah, you were sitting behind. David would just sit behind me.
Yeah.
And Lauren would say, David's ready if anything happens to you. Right?
He doesn't have much game, but he's ready. Yeah, I wasn't a super character guy.
I never felt, I since everything I'd done besides stand-up had failed, when I got on there at a given point, maybe it was in the second or third season, I felt like, okay, I sort of belong here doing this. Quick form impressions, quick form characters. It's like this fits me.
But wait a second. When did you become a star on the show?
Yeah, Dana. Dana just said you're agreeing you're a star. Go ahead.
I would say...
No. But he did become a star. So when you're a star, you're an inevitability. You don't think you're going to get fired.
No, I think that I think the first 60 to even 80 shows, I was, not as confident as I would become. Wow. I think that so many things that were out of my control, being invited into Wayne's World, that started its journey. I was not a political impressionist when I got on SNL. I was assigned George Bush Sr., and then Lovitz was Dukakis. And so this is true, that when Dukakis lost on election night, John called me before the real Dukakis conceded to George Bush, saying, well, you're gonna be in the cold opening all the time. You happy now? Which is the thing we...
But Dana...
we always say, you happy now?
I think also, Dana, you might not... If you knew what you knew now and you saw your first show where you killed in 4 things, you'd go, that guy's fine. He's going to be great on the show. But when you're in it, you don't know any better. And you're just like, fuck, I hope I don't get fired. I would get calls like, they don't know if they're going to bring you back. So I would move in the summer. And then 2 months later, they go, all right, they'll let you come back, but you better really step it up. I'm like, it's just so stressful. And then at the end of the year, they don't know if they're going to bring you back. I don't know if it's clicking. So I'd have to move out. And they go, all right. And I'm like, God damn. It's very tough.
I'm just wondering if Marty had stayed with the show and then he became a part of our cast. Would have elevated us.
Would have been
faster
huge. Yeah.
And higher.
I would have been part of your cast. In fact, Lauren, I remember meeting with Lauren. I have this kind of Rain Man memory for dates and things. But it was July of '85, and I went to Lauren's apartment and to discuss this Western. That he was, Three Amigos, that he and Steve and Randy Newman had written. But he also still hadn't decided and was contemplating whether he should return to SNL. And he would say, I remember him saying, now if we did it together, if we returned, I said, no, I'm not. What are you talking? I'm not
I'm trying to get you.
I'm not doing SNL. I thought we were here to talk about how could I do a movie, a Western, and be an SNL? And Lauren said, it's called scheduling.
Yeah.
Did Lauren write on Three Amigos, by the way?
Yeah, he the credit is Steve, Lauren, and Randy Newman.
And then you guys
we
made
all
up
went
shit.
to the Ziegfeld and watched it. The whole cast. We all went to the Ziegfeld and watched it. Before it was released in theaters.
What a monster movie.
Well, there was an opening night in New York, I remember.
Maybe that's where we were, or it was at a screening. But that would have been interesting to have had you on the cast.
And obviously you guys fucked around on Three Amigos, right? It's made up shit.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I guess we did. Yes, there were certain things totally improvised. There's a scene where I'm sitting talking to little children about when I was a child star and my obsession, not with Lillian Gish, but her sister Dorothy Gish. And they can't speak English, and I'm saying, and when Dorothy Gish said to me, "You've got it," it meant something, all that's you're improvising. Yeah.
It's one of those movies that's gotten bigger and brighter as time's gone on.
Absolutely. We were second to Golden Child.
The Golden Child. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's talking about that right now, even though it's a good movie, but Three Amigos hung in there. Also, what about Big Picture, Dana, real quick? Big Picture was what year?
Big
because
Picture, yeah.
I didn't really get, I got the Hollywood references, and I was like, fuck, you were saying stuff like, listen, I've read most of these scripts almost all the way through, and what I think, and I'm like, did he just say most? I was like, how fucking good is this guy? It's so funny to me because I was sort of newer, but I'm like, goddamn, this is so fucking funny.
The big
That was
picture awesome.
we shot that in '88. It was released in '89, and I worked 2 days in that film.
Oh, are you serious? And you stole that
Yeah.
shit? Oh my God.
Well, and I remember we dyed my hair. We sprayed it. We curled it and it made it big and red,
that's
like
right.
like Lucy. But then we had lifts, so it was like that.
Oh, wow.
And I remember that, but there wasn't a wig because we were just creating it that morning, so it wasn't a wig. So the next day I had big welts here, so
what
I
do you
couldn't
have,
have
tape?
shot 3
What do
days.
you do?
They were doing that. They're pushing it up. And it was like big plastic things. Anyway, there were welts. And I remember Chris said afterwards, like a month later, what we should have done is that the character should have had big bags the first scene, and the second scene, no bags, and never explained.
Got a quick tuck.
That was you must love that. That was such a great one. You must.
That was fabulous. Yeah.
Now, what's it like? Because I guess I don't know how many hours we get to go, but Only Murders in the Building. Like, what does that feel like for you? Now, I mean, it's such a cool giant hit, and here you are again in a big television show with your best friend,
cool
which I want to ask you about.
It's actually the idea. I mean, I was talking to Steve today, and I said, Steve, can you imagine if, like, when we were shooting last January, I had said, hey, you know what? I bet this is going to be the #1 Hulu ever thing. And he would have said, yeah, not in a million years. So I think everyone's surprised. I remember seeing a Johnny Carson, like from the 70s, and Tony Randall was on. And year 3 of The Odd Couple. And Johnny said, how long will you stay with the show? And Tony just stared at Johnny and said, that's the dumbest question I've ever been asked in my life. I'll stay with it as long as it is a hit. John, hits are few and far between. I will never leave a hit. And it's true.
So
hits
true.
are like flukes. They're flukes.
You got to know that in a career
true.
where if you start out on Friends or you're a child star, let's say your first job is Friends, one of those people.
Right.
And it's so big and you just don't know it's not going to go away, which I'm not saying it did for them, but any show like that, you start off on top of the world like a child star, and like child stars are worse. It is plummeting. I mean, it's a free fall after that. Like you're like, wait, where is everybody? I just thought it would be so easy. I've been caught up in that. You do a sitcom and you go, I don't want to do another one for a year. And then a year later, they're like, who the fuck's this guy? And you're like, I'm the guy last year. Remember you wanted me to do anything.
Yeah.
And then
Steve said when he did The Jerk, which was a massive, massive hit.
Massive.
Yeah.
And then he thought, this is simple. Every film I'm going to make, I guess, is going to be this kind of hit. And the next, 3, no one saw, So but I agree with you that when you're young and you're in that first hit, it's almost better to be in a hit later on so you understand how showbiz works,
Right. And the nice thing is that, things that fail, people don't really see. So when they just think of your resume or me or anybody, they just remember, that thing and that thing and that thing. Every once in a while, someone will come up and mention a movie I was in. My wife and I have a running gag for my short-lived movie career. If we're watching a movie and it's really bad, I go, this movie is so bad, I could be in it. But, in the end of the day, it's just really the chemistry, as they say, you and Steve, I mean, this and your stand-up act together and all this coming together in these last few years. I mean, but it must be, it's so fun to work with your friend like that and make all that money.
It's absolutely true. No, it's true because we love the hang. We have a riot on the set. Mm-hmm. We like a very loose, funny set where there's a lot of jokes and the crew's laughing. Yeah. And Selena, as it turned out, was exactly the same way, like that kind of set. But Steve and I will literally, and listen, I have an objectivity. It's a beautiful thing that we'll finish. He'll be really excited when we finish at the same time, and then he'll arrange the driver. So we'll drive just in his car and drink white wine on the way home. And then we'll park in front of his house and talk and finish the bottle of white wine.
Fun. Jeez, that's like
perfect.
a show in it.
It's a long way
itself.
from the Eagles,
Well, I saw your show at Santa Barbara. It was so great when you guys go on tour. It is. I go on tour. I did 9 dates with Sandler and like Norm and Schneider, and we did like an SNL thing about 2-3 years ago. And even 9 in a comfortable way, 9 days in a row, by the end, I'm like, God damn, I'm not exactly Bon Jovi, but what the fuck? Does it get to you, the road? It's kind of hard, It's no matter how easy they make it.
We'll do the most we've ever done, maybe, is 4.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah.
Like we just did last week when we were in Nashville and Richmond, Virginia, and Columbia, South Carolina. We did those 3 in a row, but the next ones will be in March or something,
You can really get tricked out by playing casinos. I was doing one with Dennis once on San Bernardino, and there's got like 1,000 seats, but everyone's in the bar right before the show comes out. So the show starts in like 90 seconds, and I go out there with Dennis. Of course, Dennis, Christ's sakes, Carvey, is it over? Are we done now? Jesus, 3 Dog Night, what are we here? All right. But then they came in with
night.
Yeah. But, Dennis, my IQ goes up when I do Dennis because of his the references and amazing. But yeah,
I always say with Dennis that at one point he'll be in his 90s. Carolyn will come in and say, Dennis, the last person that would ever have gotten one of your references died.
All right, Christ's sakes, hanging with the Mart Cat with Spudley, okay?
Every
doing
time.
A little putty cast.
We do it.
Right?
We do gigs, me and Dennis. He goes, hey, can I go first? I got to get out of here. I go, we're on the same flight. You got to get out of here. Where do you got to go? He's like, just let me go first, Spade. Come on. I got you on SNL. I go, by the way, he gets anything he wants with me because we're all buddies. And the last gig I did with Norm was me, Norm, and Dennis. And they both go, Norm goes, and then can I go? I go, I have to follow you two assholes? It's too hard. You're too good.
Did I ever tell you that Norm Macdonald hosted the Canadian Screen Awards maybe 4 years ago? And the Canadian Screen Awards is the Emmys and the Oscars in one evening.
Oh.
The CSAs, right? And Norm was the host. And I was in the audience. I was getting this thing. And he comes out, and this is his opening joke. So I was flying up here. And I was at LAX, and I ran into my friend Chris Rock. And Chris said, what are you doing? He said, I'm about to go to Toronto. What are you doing? And Chris said, well, I'm real excited. I'm about to host the Academy Awards. So why are you going to Toronto? And Norm said, oh, just to visit some family. And that's his opening joke for the Canadian Screen. And then his next one is, Canadian television is a lot like the Northern Lights. We know it exists, but we've never seen them. And he's,
I love this cadence. I love Norm, the way he kind of creep up on a line, just that rhythm of his. But yeah, another Canadian. There you go. Mike Myers. You can't keep. Everyone thinks I'm Canadian. I run into him. I go, no, Missoula, Montana. I'm 100 miles from Canada, but my wife's a Canadian citizen, born out Peace River.
Oh, really?
Canadians, yes.
It's very weird. People used to say all the time, like I'd be doing a CBC interview, and what is with all the Canadians? Is there something in the water? And I'd say, no, it really isn't. I don't think there's any, boundary to the arts.
Yeah.
But then people just kept coming. Seth and Phil Hartman and, the SCTV, Eugene and Catherine.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Fuck, Norm.
It is bizarre considering it's 34 million people.
34 million people. So it's like all those people coming from just California.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right.
Martin, I have to ask you something before whenever it's over. I don't even know how do we end it, but do you remember, I've told this story before and I forget you're in my story of my first Johnny Carson, my very first. And Dana, I'll tell you, it was Johnny, which one Johnny was, and you were talking about the makeup. But when I went on, the guy, Jim McCauley, who books me, I said, he goes, you go out there and you hit your mark and you walk back. And he's all drunk, I'm kidding. I don't know, maybe. And he goes, and I go, okay. And he goes, there's a little dot on the floor. And I go, got it. And he goes, do your shitty act and get out of here. And I go, all right. He's got to get over to the Copper Penny across the street. So anyway, I go, all right. And then I go, what if Johnny invites me over? I've heard stories. And he goes, he won't. Go. And I go, okay. Well, I guess it's already been decided. But I'm new and scared. So I walk out there. I got like a cable cruise sweater on that I didn't even know what to wear. It's the middle of August. So I go out there, beep, bop, boop. I do. And all I can think of is, the floor is so black and shiny. I've never been on a TV thing. I've only seen the show that way. And so now I'm seeing the cameras and shit,
no.
you know? And I'm
Terrifying.
like, all I think about anything but my act. I'm like this. I go, what's going on here? And then I go, oh, and he's kind of behind, you know? So he's really not in your eye line at all. And so I start to do my act. I do it. And Martin's next to him. He's the guest. So I see later on they're laughing and being nice. And then I leave and I go, all right. And I turn as a robot, as I was told, meet mop, to walk off. And then Martin or Johnny, and I think Martin says, oh, he was funny. And Johnny goes, yeah, let's have him come over or something.
Oh, Martin.
And then you both watch me leave. And then he goes, he's too nervous to look. Okay, bye. And I just left.
Yeah.
And then Jim McCauley goes,
right.
you dumb fuck. He invited you over. I go, you told me
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
Ow. So
That's right. We had talked, you know, I leaned over and I said, boy, he was hysterical, wasn't he? And Johnny was laughing through the thing. He went, yeah. You know. And then you just walked off. Yeah.
Hilarious.
I don't think anyone had walked off after being invited over.
It's so I went in the back.
Years.
He came by my dressing room though. I took my sweater off. I was setting BO fucking records. I took my sweater off. I was just in my pants and my fucking skinny twig body, and they knock on the door, and I think it was him and Doc or something, and he goes, and I had Pepto-Bismol in my hand, and I go, yeah, and he goes, I just wanted to say good job. You didn't come, and I go, and he goes, Pepto, I'm trying to quit the stuff, and walked away. Got a laugh and walked away, and I was like,
I don't think that Johnny ever forgot those early days and those early struggles
of comics. Yeah,
know?
Very nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he had great empathy for him.
And thank you for laughing while I was out there. You are etched in my memories as part of it.
I remember the second time I was on Johnny Carson. So I was on the first time with Betty Davis. Now I'm asked back. And I plan my stuff and it goes well. And Jake Johansson.
Yeah.
Remember Jake?
No,
San Fran.
It was his first appearance. And his parents had flown in and they're in the audience. And so then I do 2 segments and then they go to commercial, and then Freddie DeCordova comes over and is talking to Johnny, and they're talking. And Jake and I were both with Rollins and Joffe, so I knew him. We were talking before. Anyway, Freddie turns to me and says, do you have another segment? And I said,
whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I have stuff we didn't hit. But then I said, but you know, if that means you're cutting Jake is really, really funny. And the 2 of them looked at me like I was like out of Bellevue. Like, what? Who did you just say something to us?
Wow.
And I did the 3rd segment and they cut Jake. So that was bad. But in the 3rd segment, Johnny did this thing. So I'm here and I said something and he laughed. And then he looked at me. He looked out and said, you're a funny guy. And by the time I got home, I had been taped on VHS because I went to a party after. And I must have rewound that moment of Johnny going, you're a funny guy, 18 times in a row till I jammed the tape, because it was like my whole life and being a kid in Hamilton and watching him and just watching show business.
Wow.
Even until that moment. I don't know why it struck. And that's the power that he had over someone in comedy. Dave Letterman has a hilarious story where I won't name the manager, but his manager. So he's on the spot. It's his first appearance. His heart is beating. He realizes this is everything he's ever dreamed of. His whole life is before him. They're saying 20 seconds. And his manager came over to him, started picking lint off his coat and said, Robin got Popeye.
Wow.
And David Letterman.
Jesus.
I don't know. I had a weird intersection with Johnny in that I did him on the show and I'd done appearances with him. And then that became, unfortunately, there was one sketch that was a little cruel. I didn't write it, but
it was the funniest sketch I maybe have ever seen in my life. Phil That is correct, sir. Peaked in the 70s. Is that the
I
one?
felt
Yes, old reference, lost on younger viewers.
Yeah,
I felt when I did that it was so supernaturally funny to me that it was really my first time on SNL where the audience didn't really matter because I had Phil there and I'm able to go,
A gentleman joins us. For those of you at home who don't know, you're watching a television.
that kind of thing. And it was just, I knew it was
also,
so
what you also
supernaturally
did
funny.
in that sketch was that you had that slight early dementia look in your eyes of confusion. And that's what made it so funny and so mean.
I know.
Yeah, I don't.
He didn't like that.
But anyway, I was told that at a given point, because of the way it was satirizing Johnny compared to Rich Little, it was a little closer to the bone, that he used to walk around behind the Tonight Show set, down the big hallway going,
They're making fun of me now. It's time to go.
Oh, really?
yeah. But I mean, anyway.
Well, I don't think Johnny liked Rich Littles either.
Well, the first few times I went on the show with Johnny after doing SNL, he was fine with it. He loved Carsenio.
It makes fun of Carsenio as much as it satirizes us.
Arsenio.
It was just that one thing. But yeah, I was kind of bittersweet because I was like you. I just grew up with Johnny Carson. I do think he's the singular greatest television personality we've ever had. And really thinking about his voice, just that voice of his was supernatural.
That register down here, the way he would, that whole thing.
So a lot of our talk shows.
If David did Carson, he'd have the shing, but it would be higher.
Yeah.
It would be 3 octaves too.
Martin, I had my balls taken away when I was younger, and no explanation. And
I know
my impressions are off, but I luckily am getting by on my sparkling personality.
But by the way, non sequitur. So Selena Gomez had such a wonderful voice as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the show with you and Steve and these voices, and then hers is such a cool mix.
Yeah.
The three of you. Have you noticed her? She just has this really nice voice. It's very interesting.
She's been a star for, she's 28, but she's been a star since she was 13 or something.
Seems like a heavy job. She got all these people watching every move, and I only met her on Hotel Transylvania. She was a sweetheart. She seems like just trying to glide through life and trying so hard to be normal when everything is trying to make her crazy. It's a crazy world. I like when you said too, Steve, are you not Scott Bakula? Anyway, I think we have to wrap up with Mr. One of the funniest guys ever, Martin Short. Martin, thank you for hanging out with us, buddy.
Thanks, guys. This is fun.
Really enjoyed it.
And by the way, edit. And here's the other thing you might get. This is a note you're going to get from
Don't worry.
The studio, whatever it is.
From everyone, yeah.
Guys, Johnny Carson left the air in 92. Now,
Any newer people you could talk about?
I love that you really enjoyed talking, but that was a big bulk of it. And I don't think we really have a show.
We have editing capability.
We can't cut around it. We have 6 minutes of a show left.
We have 6 minutes of a show.
Yeah, good show. Good solid sixer.
Well, you know what? The next one you should do, you should really focus on President Carter.
That's our next.
Come on, man.
We're tackling
I can do my Biden.
Oh yeah, he's got Biden shit. We didn't even get to that far.
Oh, let's see a little Biden.
Come on,
during the credits.
Let's get real. My dad lost his job. No joke. I'm not kidding around here. Come on,
that's
folks.
The best.
Let's get real. Number one, the one part. Number two, what the guy said. You know the drill. Is there a crisis at the border? No, there's no crisis at the border. How do you know? Because it says so here on the piece of paper. No crisis at the border. It says the people.
Fantastic. Now we can go.
Thank you.
Now we can go.
All right, guys.
But I like the Carson stuff. All right, bye.
Bye, guys.
Pleasure.
Miss you already. All right.
Bye-bye.
Leave meeting. Go. Hey, what's up, flies? What's up, fleas? What's up, people that listen? We want to hear from you and your dumb questions.
Questions, ask us anything. Anything you want.
You can email us at flyonthewall@cadence13.com.
Ask me anything. Ask me anything. That's like Wayne's World, I suppose. Can you sing it? Ask me anything? A little jingle?
I can do it like this. My money don't jiggle jiggle. It bold. That's the only song I know right
That's
now.
pretty good. Ask me anything. I don't care what a thing. What you go, had a game. I'm a wearing bling ding.
Jesus,
Okay,
that's
I
pretty
know.
good.
Pretty good. Got in the hood.
Okay.
I do what I should. I'm a rhymer. I'm a rapper. It's just a.
I'm getting
All
some
right.
morning wood. Go ahead. Hello, gentlemen.
Here's someone who asked us anything. Hello, gentlemen. My name is Christopher Neil Walker. I'm a new
Jesus.
fly from Melbourne, Florida, and loving the podcast.
Florida.
I had something of the Dale Hammond episode that really intrigued me. You both admitted he's from Australia. You know I'm doing that.
No, he's from Florida.
Oh, Melbourne, Florida. Fuck me. Yeah, well, I'm a Trump supporter and I'm a fucking.
You switched it.
I just saw Melbourne. Okay. I'm just
going.
thinking of what a Floridian would talk like, you know.
No, Australia's
Hey,
easier.
I retired in Florida. My name is Christopher Neil Walker.
Oh, boy.
No, I won't. Okay.
That's all right. Go ahead. So
I'm a new fly. Yeah. So
he heard we can't sing.
he heard the Daryl Hammond episode, and it intrigued him because we both, Daryl and I, said we can't really sing. That he says, "quote That kind of blew my mind, thinking about the amount of control Dana has over his voice, being able to speak like
True.
McCartney but not sing like him. Why? Why?" That was
Well, I think they meant me and you admitted I can't sing. I cannot for sure. Even my mom told me because I did karaoke at my birthday. She goes, Davey, I did Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue, and it was so fucking rough. And my mom goes, Davey, everyone's going to say you can sing. You cannot. And my mom was my biggest fan. It was crushing.
Well, can you just sing a little bit
I
for
can't
America
really.
the Beautiful? Just give us the first line. America.
Money don't wiggle, wiggle.
I got a time on my side and
That's
I
all
go
I got.
on Nevada.
So that's
Going to-
that's a
and great-
TikTok song. That's
Well, he
going
was
on.
like, McCartney
There we
sings
go.
in different ways. If I do, she gives me all my love. That's all she do. But now he's rougher and like this. We told the line. We knew where we were going. We were suffering.
What song's that?
I made it up.
Oh, well,
Your
there-
day breaks, your mind aches.
so you
find
think
it
you
all-
can sing like McCartney, but you
Little
can't
bit.
sing in real life? Can you sing in real life?
I don't think I really can unless I stylize it. It's like she chopping broccoli. If I hit it in a comic way, I'm
applause.
better. She's cold as ice,
Yeah.
paradise. But if I'm trying to sing, I'm not a real singer. Like Lovitz
Right.
has pipes, which he loves to remind me. You can't sing like I can. John has a real voice, and Anna Gasteyer had a real voice. I'm sort of I don't know. What song would you like me to
Well,
attempt?
I know what you're saying. Like, I can't sing, but if you're sort of pretending to sing like someone, if it's Tom Petty, you go, listen, can you see, baby, would marry me? Sure, and pull the cock, give someone else a try. You know what, you step, or you gonna get hurt yourself. Someone gonna tell you lies.
Now, dude,
cut you
Mike,
down.
Mike Tyson doing the same song.
Don't
You
do
know
me like
what
that.
son? And I'm quitting him. I'm so scared.
I forgot which one I used to do. Tom Petty.
That's funny. But, Paul would just say, you just hit the notes. You play a note, you sing along, you see what happens. It's not a problem. But, people say a lot of things. But, Paul has to sing songs he wrote when he was 18. But he does an incredible job.
Well, he's fucking one of the best in the world, so it's easy for him to go.
He's a
It's
freak.
easy.
He's a boy genius. Like Lauren said to me, he's Mozart, who apparently wrote more great melodies than anyone in history.
Mozart did?
Yeah.
Did he ever host when you were there?
He was a cast member for one season.
Dude, I think McCartney was there when I was there. and I
Mozart
fucking
sounds like a rapper.
couldn't deal with it. But yeah, we can't sing. Is really, we're gonna wrap
We
this up.
can't really sing.
We
I can
can't
sing as
sing.
Neil Young a bit and Paul McCartney a bit, but no, can't sing, and I don't know why.
Oh yeah, that was one I used to do with Tom Petty. Well, the talk on the street says you might go solo. Well, a good friend, or even David Bowie. What was the song he did? Changes. Can you do-
Change. Yeah.
Permanence.
Anyone
Oh, yeah, I
could do.
can't sing.
Anyone do Dylan. you
Oh
know?
yeah, my friend saw
Soon
Dylan
after
last
midnight.
My friend
and
saw
I
Dylan
got a
last
date
night
with the Fair Queen.
Really?
and
Where?
said he did the same song for about 40 minutes. And they did
Dylan
not,
does
no one
whatever
knew what was
Dylan
happening.
wants.
Yeah, I think at that point, I think it's just turning into a magic trick. It's like Penn and Teller because you go there and he's like, I'm going to do a song for 40 minutes until people fucking walk out and then they don't. And he's like, this is like the longest joke. I'm just going to go in circles. And I promise you won't hear a hit.
I envy musicians. We have to have a new 60. Like you just did a special.
Yeah.
You got to write a new hour of original material in the next 2 weeks. But the Stones are up there. Time.
I know it's
is
true.
on my side.
Yeah, fuck
it's
that.
like,
That's
come
true.
on, man.
You know what I do? I do the
So
same
unfair.
material, but I hold the mic in my left hand.
And I want to paint it black.
Okay, this question's too long. Thank you for asking it. Sorry, we don't really have an answer, but we took 20 minutes to tell you that.
Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13.
Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes.
Executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment. Production and engineering led by Greg Holtzman, Richard Cook, Serena Regan, and Chris Basil of Cadence 13.
So we got Matt Rife today, and Matt Rife is obviously up and coming, been up and coming for years, though. He's done it longer than people think. I think.
Yes, 10 years in the business and then
Yeah.
exploded in the last 2 years via TikTok to doing his own specials. And now on Netflix, he has a new special called Lucid, where he does just crowd work. If you don't know what that means, he's just improvising with people in the audience for the entire special. And they've never had one like that on Netflix. So that's his latest gig.
It's tricky. He had one before that did well on Netflix. He's had a YouTube special that sort of got around, and he's been out there hitting the road and hitting the clubs for a long time from Ohio. Very good looking. We all understand what it's like to be good looking, and we talked about that.
We related to him heavily.
Yeah.
No, he's a very personable, sweet, humble guy. He's sort of a little bit in the shock and awe of the success he's had in the last 2 years, and he's got a huge following, and he's really fun to talk to. He's got an interesting story about how he started and his grandfather and all kinds of things. It was a very fun podcast.
Yeah, he's a good dude, and we had a lot of laughs. Anytime we have comedians on, it's really fun to just get inside baseball and just talk about everything top to bottom, what it's like, and that was really fun with him. Cool dude.
Yeah.
All right, here he is, Matt
I
Rife.
think you'll enjoy it.
Oh, someone's blow dryer broke today.
I love the
mine.
wallpaper. What is that? Santa grandma.
This is a headboard.
Oh, a headboard. So you're you're in bed.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna put on pants for this. Come on.
Is that a fucking Rorschach test behind you?
I've never worn
Where
pants.
are you guys?
Undisclosed location.
Spades in L.A.
I
behind Mel's Diner.
like
basically.
you. Look how Matt and I will relate. I, like you, have a farm. I'm at the farm.
Wait, how did you know I have a farm?
It's called research. Look into it.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, yeah, that got leaked where I live now. That's fun.
Oh, they didn't. I wouldn't give an address, so I don't even give a state. But
Oh yeah, give the address because some people don't have it.
445-375. Go.
You go down the dirt road of peace.
Yeah, there's 4 mailboxes. Only 3 of them are operative. One has a blue flag.
Operative.
Stop there and make a U-turn. Anyway,
Look, we got our own crowd work special. Look at us go.
thanks for
Yeah,
coming
I'm in
on.
danger. I'm
Matt,
in danger.
not at all. Thanks for coming on.
in danger.
We always danger Will Robinson. 60s, old reference lost on younger people. Anyway, you're a phenomenon. It's pretty interesting reading.
Thanks,
I
dude.
read the New Yorker piece. I don't know if that,
Oh boy.
but it was pretty comprehensive, but not too detailed. But it kind of told me your story pretty succinctly. You know.
It did okay. It did okay.
Oh, look.
Didn't
It
love
wasn't
it.
my favorite article ever written, but it was
Here's
nice.
Here's the deal. Here's what you do when you're Adam Sandler before he was Adam Sandler. Because what happens, you'd be interviewed by somebody and you go, well, that doesn't sound like me. And it's a cut and paste and added and edited. Like, well, I never said that. And now it sounds like I'm saying that. So that's just that. So Sandler, very early on, before he was Adam Sandler, he'd only do ones where they record it and then they take what you say and put it in there. And even if they edit that, it is at least what you said, word for word. So that's your next interview.
I'm just learning it's interesting how people can interpret the interview that they had with you. Like how they perceived how you were saying something. You're like, oh, I actually didn't mean it like that. But
yes,
it's always better on video. I think Adam went totally off of print interviews for years. Because even I think they were going to put him on the cover of Rolling Stone. He goes, I don't want to do the interview. Because it's another interview where the writer sometimes benefits by going, I'm going to make a name for myself by spinning Adam whatever way I want. And then it just turns into, well, I don't want you to go win some Pulitzer. So I'm going to fucking just skip that part.
So if we'd done this 2 months ago, you would not have that New York article.
Yeah, thank you.
But I wish I could say I've never heard of such a thing. An article you read, that's not me, and I didn't say it like that or that. Yeah.
Well, if it sounds negative, I mean, the truth is you worked hard, you've got big specials out, and you sell places out. I mean, I don't know how they can spin stuff, but that's the real story.
Thanks, man. As long as that's what you got from it, I'm happy with it.
Well, when all the dust settles, that's
I know. Well,
that's what's going on.
We had it with someone who we talked to the other day. I can't keep track, but people love to stir the pot. It was Bo and Yang. They just took one little quote and then they blew it up all over the web. By the time I got to the 10th place, it's showing up. It's completely distorted. So anyway, it happens to the best of them. I don't even pay attention to those kinds of parts of the article. I just skim over them. I don't even take them seriously.
It's funny how they can hang on one sentence. There was, I think it was TMZ popped up on me in New York one time. They were asking like, how do you describe it was for my first special, so a little over almost a year ago. They were like, how would you describe it? I was like, I think this one's like a little bit more for guys. And they were like, Matt Rife basically says, fuck women. This one's for the women. Dudes. What did he mean by that? I was like, I mean, there's like 20 minutes about cum. Like, that's all I meant. That's all I meant by it. But people can harp on one sentence.
I think I learned early on the TMZ, as Chris Rock would say, they're not your friend. I mean, they're friendly, but their job is to get you to say something that gets picked up. And I didn't even figure that out for a while. They don't want just, hey, how are you? They want to dig in and get a question that no matter how you answer, they got an answer. And and if you stiff them and you don't say anything, then they hate your guts. And then now it's another problem. So you sort of play along just to stay on their good side, but it's a dangerous situation.
And you are in the position.
Really think.
You're a shiny new object. Like I've been in this business for so many, you are.
Dana's beat up around the
You
edges.
are a brand. I'm so cynical. I can't even, but I think it's an IQ test for the audience for people who read things. Could be true. Probably not. You have to have it. It's not cynical. It's just like the way the world works, but you're a shiny new object, came out of nowhere. I mean, according to the article, you're pretty much thinking of maybe stepping outside this career 2 years ago, basically in 2022. Yeah. Is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. I had been doing stand-up for about 11 years, and I'd been in LA for 9 of them at that point. And, auditions would go well, but it always came down to, it's just not right for this project. And stand-up was just kind of stagnant. Like I couldn't get on TV, and I wasn't getting a lot of spots around town that I felt like I could actually grow. And, for making money, I was having to I'd have to go on the road and do one-nighters and just feature for people for like a month straight to save up for like 2 months worth of bills. So I wasn't getting to spend the appropriate amount of time in LA. And the time I was spending there wasn't really moving forward at all. So I was like, you know what? I'm 26 or 25. I was like, I'm young enough that I can pick a new career if I want to. So I was like, well, Austin's kind of booming a little bit right now. Let me just leave LA. I'll give it 1 year in Austin where I can get a lot more stage time at least. And if I don't feel like my stand-up career is progressing, I'll go do something else. Cause I mean, the depression fucking adds up, man, where you start to feel like delusional. Like, am I chasing a dream that's like so unattainable? Like, is this not for me when I can, I can go do something that at least feels more stable, I suppose.
Wow.
Sure. truck driving.
Yeah.
It does feel like at least a 9 to 5, you get a paycheck. Like, I don't think people realize it. As good as the Laugh Factory, Improv, and Comedy Store are, which they're fucking great and invaluable to be able to get on, it's not a big windfall. So I think when I started, it was $28 a set. And then now it's, I don't know, it's 50, 75, but it's not like you're getting $3,000. I thought when you went on Johnny Carson or like Jimmy Fallon, when I was a kid watching it, in my head, I guessed you get $10,000 just to do a stand up, to do 6 minutes. So I go, those guys are raking it in. And then someone told me once it's $450. I was like, for that? But that's even Ellen to this day. My last Ellen I did was probably $700, but that's just to get on to grow yourself. But it helps their show, but you're giving your best shit. And then it's low money.
But say what you ever want to say, but I just so fascinated by your grandfather taking you to a comedy club when you're 15, but we can move on and get back to that. But I've never heard that before. That's a movie or something. I mean,
it basically was like he was Bad Santa mixed with Dirty Grandpa. Like that was him as a person. He fucking, he's the reason I know who both of you are, actually. Like I grew up watching your guys' movies like crazy.
Oh, that's good.
So he kind
love
of
that guy.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He was great. You can dig him up and thank him yourself.
Is
Dana, what are you doing this afternoon?
So you're like a freshman in high school or something, and your grandfather says to you, "Want to go to a comedy club, kid?" I mean, is it just that casual? And you're like, or were you already kind of funny and watching a lot of comedy? Did he see something in you?
I kind of spearheaded it. I would spend every weekend with him and we would watch comedy movies. Like that was the thing.
Oh,
He'd pick me up on a Friday after school and he'd have like 6 new DVDs that he picked up on the way home.
How fun. Yeah.
And then we would watch those. And then from that, this is when like Comedy Central Presents was like really starting to boom, like the half hours.
Yeah.
So I would watch that pretty much every weeknight. So the combination of the two just really made me fall in love with comedy. And then I found out what like an actual like stand-up comedian was. And then I got wind of what an open mic was. And apparently that was like the beginning for every comedian.
Yeah.
Like that's where you go to try out stand-up. And the Columbus Funny Bone, I was living with my grandpa at the time. And it was maybe 20. Yeah, he was a cook. He would take me to this open mic. I emailed Dave Stroop.
I don't. Is that the Columbus Funny Bone?
He owns like all of the Funny Bones.
I never got in any Funny Bones.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they didn't want me. That's when you send your tape in, and then the Denunzios. There were some people that own different clubs, and they go, "Nah, no on the Funny Bones." I was like, "Oh my god, that's like 12 fucking weeks of work."
You would have to send in a tape.
Yeah, you have to send in a 1/2-inch VCR or whatever VCH. And then they look at it, and then they never get back to you. That's the system.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
I sent an email. I was sitting in my grandpa's truck while he was laying tile, and I emailed the club. I was like, "Hey, I'm 15. I know you have to be 21 and up to go in the club. But like, if I had a chaperone with me, like, could I still come?" He had no reason to say yes. Like any club owner would make total sense for them to be like, "I'm not going to risk my liquor license for a kid to like try a hobby." But he said yes. So my grandpa would take me and he would buy 5 tickets because it was like a 5-ticket bringer show was how you would get stage time there. And every week he would do that.
To go on. I thought just to watch. Oh, to go on.
No. He would still have to buy the 5 so I could perform.
Yeah. That makes sense. Bringer show. But that guy was cool to do that.
Is your grandfather still with us?
No, he just died.
No, he died about 2 years ago. He died like the exact moment all of this happened for me.
Fuck.
Wow.
Good with the bad. I know.
You know, it's funny. You can't get that part's not funny, but you can't get super cocky because, or you shouldn't be, because the same with all of us. It's such a grind and so shitty, and you feel so down so much that when it goes good, where it's, I guess, supposed to, that's the goal, that you just can't erase all the bad. So you just go, fuck, every day is lucky, where you go, it could go back to that. I'm more used to that in a weird way when it was shitty.
Yeah. And I've I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I've been so busy since then that I was kind of happy that I was too busy to really be sad. But I don't know, through therapy, I'm learning that I haven't really quite had like the time to grieve, I suppose. But maybe I'm supposed to be this busy to keep me distracted. Who knows?
Well, I would just say, without knowing him, but from my point of view and where I'm sitting on the life train, he must have had a blast.
Well, you guys probably went to school together, so take a guess.
We probably did.
Dan, how old are you?
You don't need to know. Look me up.
Yeah, Matt, we'll email you later. We'll tell you.
I'm north of 60, south of 70, but I'm wherever I am. New Yorker. Yeah, but look how good I look. I mean, it's incredible, right?
You look great.
It doesn't make sense for how old I am. But my point is, we could tear up on a podcast. We go wherever we want. But he must have got such a kick out of it. He's got this grandson who's 15. Obviously, you're an affable, agreeable, cool person. And he must have just got such a kick out of that. I just want to ask you one question, because we talk about your very, very, very first set. Did you, I'm guessing you kind of outperformed, did better, or did you bomb? Because I usually people say their first sets maybe goes well, and then you bomb for years after that.
After the first one.
It wasn't years after. The first set went really well. I forgot my set like 3 minutes into it, and I like literally froze for like 10 seconds. And some of the audience was like, you got it. Like, they were very supportive. And then I got back on track. I said something about them yelling that out. And it ended up going really well. My second set, I was so confident. I did a bit that was basically my version of Dane Cook's I Did My Best bit, where it's like just you crying profusely. And I was on the floor, like kicking and screaming. Like, this was like the big act out of this bit, because my confidence was so high from the first show. And the bit was over, and I had to pick myself up off the ground to absolute silence. And to this day, I cannot commit to a big physical bit, because it's so fucking terrifying. It was so humiliating.
Dust yourself off.
I'd say like
silence.
Second and third time I ate shit. And then I got back into like having fun. But nobody ever told me about building a set either. So I would go every single week for like 5 months and just do like a new 5 minutes, which I didn't know was like not what you're supposed to do.
Oh, I thought you were doing the same 5, which also you should be adding on to. But that first one is like cocaine, where if it goes good, you're just trying to chase that first one and go, holy shit. Because I thought it's interesting the guy let you in, because when you're like a regular person, it's a little quicker than the NFL. Like you said, I watch football every day. I wish I could play. It's almost like they go, we have tryouts with the pros on some nights. And you're like, really? So you can actually get in. But open mic nights are very interesting, that you just wait in line and you can get in. And then you're literally on a stage in a professional comedy club, good or bad.
Oh, yeah.
Doing 3 minutes. And 3 minutes sounds like nothing. It's long if you're new and you don't have anything.
Where did you start?
I did it in Arizona, and my first night, someone threw a book at me. I was 18, and they threw a. This sounds so dumb or fake, but I was doing my jokes about mustard and whatever. I had some, pretty sweet subjects.
Your mustard chunk. I remember that one.
Mustard is watery when you first squirt it out. I don't steal my premises, but. That was one of them. I had a rock in my shoe, and it moved every time I walked, and it would go to a different part of my foot. These were the things. The hot, like cement in Arizona, Dana. The funniest part about Arizona was I built up a minuscule like 9 minutes, and then someone said, you can go to New York and do the clubs there. And I'm trying to do 15 with 9 AZ minutes, which 8 don't work in New York because they're about my block. And you know what I mean? You go, I was at Smitty's, and they're like, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, the store. And they're like, that's the one store in America, and it's in your town. And I'm like, really? And it's just about things no one relates to. So you have to get a broader, you know what I mean, Dana? Like you're doing shit that no one gets, and it's Arizona based. Even just the state, it's a little wider. But East Coast was so different and foreign to me. So it was just very hard. It took me a long time to get better.
I want to ask Matt, what was your first kind of surefire, even if it's a quick bit or what the bit that.
Oh yeah, you remember
the first time you get something that that always works.
Anything referencing Justin Bieber at that time, because he's like 2 years older than me, and he was the biggest thing on the planet when I started stand up.
Oh, and you're right in the pocket of his age and shit.
Oh yeah,
funny.
I think the first thing I ever said on stage was I used to have like this really slick, like gelled hair, and I think my first bit was like, "No, I'm not Justin Bieber. My hair is cool and virtually sperm free, and it just rocked the club."
I get it.
like
That is a
casual you say it.
classic turn. I'm done, and then boom. So those always work. We did not
I'm not
see it
proud of
coming. Yep.
Biebs is a good one. I didn't have much Biebs stuff, but Columbus is a good. Is it a good? I'm asking now. Is it a good comedy club? It's right in the middle of nowhere. My parents both went to Denison, which is a small school in Ohio. So I've heard great things about Ohio, but it's
Steph
right
Curry
there.
go there?
It's the
No.
heartland.
Davidson. Okay, go ahead.
It's
the comedy was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was like most comedy clubs. It's in a mall. It's an Easton Mall there.
Oh,
And but the open mics were really nice because you would actually have a crowd. Like my heart goes out to anybody who starts comedy in New York or LA, because you're not getting a real opportunity to perform for a real audience. It's mostly other comics who don't want to laugh at your shit. They don't want to let you know you're funny.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
But for Columbus, I mean, you would get 30, 40 people in there. It was really nice.
That's good. Those are real. That's a real crowd.
Can I have a question for you? Well, I want to interrupt your train of thought. No, what were you going to say?
No,
Sorry.
No, I was going to say they've remodeled it since then, but it used to be like a 300-seater, maybe at 8-foot ceiling. So, I mean, like when you got a pop, like, you really heard it. It was perfect.
Yeah.
No, that is awesome. I was just going to say that this interim thing of seeing a stand-up when you're first going in the open mics, you haven't really got paid yet. And he's a local stud or something, but he's not on TV. No one's ever heard of him, but he's really good. And that was sort of like revelatory to me. Like, oh, this guy's not on TV and he's really, really good. Do you remember anyone blowing through that club and go, and seeing him and going, he's not on TV, but he's damn good, you know?
Yeah. Road comic.
It's like inspiring, you know?
It was more the host, this guy named Rick, who was, it kind of looked like Barry Katz a little bit. But he was like 6'7", just this giant grizzly dude
with a 9-foot.
He would just, you would never see his head. He would move a ceiling panel,
scraping the roof.
he would murder. But I didn't realize he was doing all local material. Yeah. I didn't realize he had been at that club for like 12 years. He knew every single reference of every person who has ever lived in Ohio. So he would destroy, not knowing he had been doing that same set for like 6 years. But at the time, I was like, how is this guy not doing arenas? He would crush. Yeah. But that also is when I learned, because like the first step kind of after guest spots and open mics is like you have to host in clubs first. That's when I figured out, like, okay, you have to test the water a little bit, let the people know you know about them, I suppose, and where they're at. Do a little bit of research when you travel.
An honor, Dana, to host. Like when Bud Friedman gave me the improv, I got passed. He goes, I'm going to have you host. And I was like, oh, great. So get here at 8 and leave at 1 a.m. And you get like 3 or 4 up front. And that's what you think about all week. And then you literally just stand in the hallway and go, hi, Kevin Nealon. What do you want me to say about you? and then you have to, and you might get one line in between, and then you got to bring up the next guy, and you're running late, so they don't want you to do anything. Don't do any time, just bring them up. And then that gets to be a grind, but it helps.
Speaking of Kevin Nealon, Dana, I don't know if you remember meeting me on his show, like, oh God, 7 years ago, I would say
on the hiking show,
the hiking one.
No, but he used to do his new material night at the last.
Oh yeah, we did meet just briefly, right? You were going. Did you go on that night, or were you just there?
Yeah. You were. You went on. I think right before me, and I was so flattered that you stayed and like even acknowledged my set. You were super complimentary. You were very nice, a little flirtatious. But it was fucking awesome, man. You were so nice.
Usually Dana has the door open and they run him right out into the limo right after his set of Laugh Factory.
Well,
You've
I have
never
a
been in a limo?
special room upstairs. It's a key to get into it, and it's a place that I chill. It's beyond the upper part. It doesn't
Chill.
matter.
They bring
where
in
they shoot Kramer.
chalupas.
Yeah.
80-inch flat.
Wait, you've never been in a limo? Is that what you just said?
Never been in a limo.
Fucking thank
No
God.
idea what it looks like in there for real.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
You know what? It's
man.
car sickness. I mean, once SUVs came in, that's much more comfortable, But
Yeah, it really is.
Are there seatbelts?
No.
in a limo,
No one
Oh.
dies.
David, did you
I
ever
find that
have
hard to believe. Nobody
No one
dies
dies in limo. Come on.
Usually
guys, you know that.
ODs.
Yeah, that's more OD situation.
Well,
yes, Dan, you
I
had a
think
question for me?
Tracy Morgan might have something to say about limos because I think that's where he got smacked.
I've met
No.
Matt off and on over the years, and
Mhm.
always pleasant guy.
He's rife
always
with
fucking
he's
killing.
rife with jokes. Has anyone
rife
ever
with
said
jokes.
that?
Oh, I was watching your special,
Sorry.
and
That's all I
we
got.
can jump into the special. I have to say, I get my notes out. on
Well,
the
I
special.
before we get
Dana,
to the
keep going.
special, just quickly, because I think it's fascinating that you spent all this time, you're down and out. It's just 2 years ago. And then in the modern world, you put out a TikTok
Yeah.
video, and that sort of lit the fuse. This is what I gathered, which is
Mhm.
fascinating to me, and led to these other things. So talk about that and that thing blowing up, that TikTok video, and what it did for you.
Is it one or is it a bunch?
One really lit the fire under all the other ones. It's so weird because TikTok and social media is so my generation, but it's
Yeah.
not for me. I got the very tail end of what was like the organic stand-up dream of exactly what you described, right? You go on Carson or Fallon, you perform at the clubs, you get discovered at the clubs, you get a 5 minutes, then you go to JFL, and then you get a deal for a pilot, and then you do a sitcom, and then you do a movie.
Mhm.
Like that was kind of the blueprint for the last 30, 40 years.
For
So
sure.
that's what I always dreamed of doing. That's how I wanted my stand-up career to go. I fucking hate social media. If I didn't have to be on it, I wouldn't have one. So I was always very reluctant to it. And then when I contemplated moving, maybe like 6 months before that, I was like, you know what? How long can I go against the grain? A couple of guys, Sam Morril, Andrew Scholes, like are starting to post these clips online, and they're doing
Yeah.
really well. So I was like, you know what? Let me just try. I'll buy a camera with money I don't have. I'll have my friend teach me how to edit on like basic software, and I'll just start recording my one-nighters because funny random things happen, or a new bit. Maybe I'll toss it out
Sure.
there.
Mm-hmm.
In the first couple videos I posted on TikTok, they did like 100 to 250,000 views, which is like it's pretty fucking
That's good. Yeah.
That's really big.
Well,
The first
I
time.
got it then. I was like, oh, TikTok's genius. I see how this is immediately addictive. And they reward new users. New users get their stuff pushed
Crack.
before anybody else.
Yeah.
Instant crack.
They get you
So-
hooked.
Yeah. So I started posting, and most videos would average from like 50,000 and like 300,000 views. It was really good. I was starting to get a little
That's
bit of
very good.
following on there. And then I did one show in Arizona at Copper Blues Live, like just north
Yep.
of Phoenix.
Mhm.
Maybe 70 people there, most of which came from like my first YouTube special that I put out on my own. And this one lady was there. I was working on this bit in my set about red flags, which was like a big social media pop
Mhm.
culture thing at the time where everybody would
Yeah.
talk about their warning signs and relationships. And I was going through like 3 examples of red flags I had for women. And just one night on stage, I was like, this seems kind of unfair. I was like, I want a woman's perspective on red flags. Like, what are some red flags for guys? That began me asking the women in the audience for them. And I was actually searching for material. I was searching for someone to say something that I could write about. But it became so everything just got so rowdy when I would bring it up or start talking to this person amongst the audience that it kind of was more fun than going home and turning it into a bit. And I was like, oh, if I can have a new fun thing every single show, why not keep doing this? So this woman in Phoenix yelled out, "He doesn't do anything," which was different from what I usually heard. Like it was usually like, "Oh, he wears flip flops," or "He doesn't eat ass," like something just kind of
Right.
Something
base
basic.
level.
Yeah.
So I was like, didn't do anything. I was like, what do you mean? Like in life, he doesn't do anything, or he doesn't do anything with you? And she was like, in life, he doesn't do anything. I was like, well, what does he like do for work? And she was like, oh, he works in the ER. Like he was a fucking hero. Like forgive Superman for not wanting to go to the farmer's market with you after he gets done saving the world.
Oh, is that what it was? He was too busy, actually?
Yeah, he was too tired at the end of the day to do anything with her. And I just got to destroy her for like 4 or 5 minutes. And that clip took off. And that clip did like 10 million views overnight. And that video made everybody go to my profile. And then that made every other video on my page do like 1 million views. So it just kind of caught fire in that
Do they
moment.
also go to your special, your YouTube special? So it just circulates around.
That special I think is at like 13 million views now. The one I did after that was also off of TikTok views. That one's at like 20 million. That one's actually named after my grandpa, so that's probably my favorite one still.
Is that the one
it's a fun
called
story
Grandpa?
about him. It's called Matthew Stephen Rife because my middle name's
Gramps?
Stephen, his name was Stephen. I opened with a story about getting him a pocket pussy for Christmas. It's a fun one.
So,
Oh,
if you were
adorable.
just because I'm a little slow, that this process is so fascinating. How succinctly, if you met a guy like you, but he's 18, he's frustrated, you would say, get a camera, just you only have one angle. I get into the technical part.
You're literally in the back of the room, set up on a little tripod. You're hoping it's in focus. And then as they call your name, you hit record and then run on the side of the stage.
There's a waitress standing in front of it most of your set.
It's focused on like the back row of people's heads the whole time.
And the sound isn't always that great because unless you're dialed in like your special.
Then it comes off authentic to a point, as long as it's not too horrible. But when you start doing crowd work, would you have 2 cameras then, or someone swinging it around?
No, the person wouldn't be. You would just hear them for the longest time until much further into my career, like a year later. I could finally afford to have somebody there with me to get another angle.
It was funny. A funny trick, Dana. You know this. Is when you're like in a big crowd and you see some comic and they go, "Look at this fucking guy in the front row. Hey, I do curls every day," and everyone laughs. And I see the guy and he's some meek, skinny guy going, "You're not talking to me, right?" But you can't see him, so everyone's just like, "Oh, he must be strong."
Or the reverse of that, because the camera couldn't get them, I'd throw out a reference and nobody would get it because you're like, oh, fuck, you can't see it. Never mind. Never mind. But it was fucking spot on.
So anyway, they blow up on TikTok. They get into the algorithm, and then they start exponentially getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then then they just find your special on YouTube. It's just all matriculate, all kind of,
and then ticket sales.
Yeah, the ticket sales was insane. I did my first tour that I kind of put together with comedy clubs called the Chipped Shoulder Tour. At the beginning, it was like January through June of 2023. And to me, this was like the epitome of what I thought a comedian could ever be. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to sell out comedy clubs. And we did for like 6 months straight, every single weekend, Thursday through Sunday. It was a dream come true. Like everybody was coming from the internet. It was fresh. It was new. It was exciting. 6 months before that, I was doing one-nighters for just papered rooms of like maybe 100 people if I was lucky. So everything kind of shifted super fast. And I was like, oh my God, I made it. This is so cool. And then when I partner with Live Nation, they're like, we're going to do some theaters. I was fucking terrified. I was like, I'd play like 2 theaters ever opening for people.
Amazing.
And it's way different. It's way more pressure for sure. You can take your time. There's so much intimacy in a comedy club versus a theater. It's a different type of performance. So I was so nervous. I was like, well, what if people don't come? And we went on sale, and then I woke up the first morning of artist pre-sale, which was just me sending out a code to my fans. Every show sold out in like 5 to 10 minutes. And we were adding shows immediately.
600,000 tickets, right?
In 48 hours. Yeah. And we've added so many shows since then. We're close to like 1 million tickets sold for the past 2 years, a year and a half, really.
That's amazing.
Insane. I don't recommend it.
To anybody out there, is super hard to do. It's very tricky. It's hard to sell them that fast. But I think you're also more in the age of not the One Direction, Taylor Swift, but people know when they like someone and they're younger, they fucking get on it and they get online and they do stuff. And I kind of miss that because, by the way, no one was playing, I'm not saying I would, but no one was playing really theaters when I was, early on, but not that early on. I mean, even when I was on SNL, it was probably Leno, Seinfeld, but no one even thought that was a possibility. Really, no one took. Even when I was doing clubs 10 years ago, you're just, oh, I added a night at the Irvine Improv. Oh, I added a night here. Oh, I'm going to sell out all 5 nights, and that was the big victory.
Yeah.
And then you start hearing about theaters, and you go, wait, they're playing a real theater, and you do, instead of 3 shows, you just do 1 in a bigger place. It sounded, and then now it's kind of the norm, but it's still hard to do. Yeah, hard for me.
It's extraordinary. One thing I'm curious about, Matt, is like, so now still the timeline is so fast. How has it affected you as a performer? I mean, have you gotten more confident, more loose, more in the pocket, or, because you're famous, and then everyone's coming there to see you because they love you before they're, it's just a huge leap. How has it affected your performing? Are you just more confident, looser, better, you think, or not at all? Or what? I mean, it's such a huge, fast leap.
Definitely way more confident. I finally got the validation that I wanted for 11 years of just wanting an opportunity to convince people I'm funny. And now they're coming to the show and I get to show them that. And they're just fun. It is so interesting to perform for an audience of your fans. Like they trust you. So you get to have more fun. You can try new things. I will say there's more pressure as well. I mean, even though they are your fans, like you still have to, and you won't always, it's impossible to please everybody, but you want to meet that standard. You want to meet that expectation that they have of you. And it sucks when you don't. And sometimes you can feel when you don't. But when you supersede their expectation, that feels, and there's no greater high than that, I think, than when you get to just crush for like 5,000 people and you all feel like you shared the exact same experience. Because sometimes you can know the crowd had a good time and you didn't have a good time, or you can have a good time and the crowd didn't have a good time. It doesn't always match up. So when it does, it's such an electric feeling, and I love that. But definitely more confident for sure. Just having more fun.
From watching some of your stuff, I do think that you really you create an intimacy even in the big room, and it's very you're kind of a little bit referring to yourself. It is sort of like, hey, it's Matt. The audience is in it with you as a person as you're doing this task, and that's sort of a skill set that's very nice to have. That you're there as a real person. It's not just your act. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
I think some of that's inspired. Like my 2 favorite stand-ups. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. Well, but you mean your third and fourth favorite?
Third and fourth is perfect. Dave Chappelle and Ricky Gervais are my 2 favorite stand-ups.
Dave who?
Chappelle.
I'll show you clips of him, Dana.
They're both absolutely brilliant. I know all about those guys. Is it on? Are they on TikTok? Go ahead.
They are not. I don't think they even have the app on their phone, which good for them. They've just taught me like patience and performance and seeing. Like I've opened for Chappelle at Madison Square Garden, which was fucking insane. Not just for me to perform, but to watch him control. What is that room in the round? Like 18,000 people.
Yeah.
For them to all stay silent while he stays silent.
Yeah.
Like there's an art to that. And so many people don't understand that.
Shows get out of hand and it's too many people. That can be a problem. Like if they're coming to see you, also there's a pressure of ticket prices are higher. They got a babysitter now. It's a whole fucking shenanigans. Parking. They parked and they paid. Yeah. And you want them to walk out and go, I'm glad I did it. Instead of like, you don't want them to go shoulder shrugger. It was all right. But that's why, and then you want them to come again.
Absolutely.
Next tour. So
longevity, I think, is harder than, the flash of success.
Yeah.
The thing
that's where the pressure comes in now.
For sure.
Chappelle, and this is what they always relate it to Cosby, pre all the Cosby stuff, is that he mastered the level of confidence, got to the point where he would tell a story and he'd be sitting on a stool and there wouldn't really be a laugh for 10 minutes. They told me at corporate dates, which I did after him or whatever, sometimes 20 minutes he's in his chair because the lady said in the man, and it's nothing funny. And then waterfall of laughs start to happen.
Yeah.
And I saw that with Dave too. Always a great stand-up.
Yeah.
But at some point, his confidence or whatever he did, he made a leap into this other level of a storyteller where he is not afraid of the silence at all. And the audience feels that. So go ahead.
I think Dave found his don't give a fuck. And when I say that, you guys know Eric Griffin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a very good friend of mine. And I used to open for him a lot when I was really young. And he used to tell me, I'd get off stage, and I didn't feel like I had a good set, and I'd be fucking miserable in the green room. And he would be like, dude, you have to stop giving a fuck. And I used to throw a tantrum. I was like, how can you fucking say that? Like, people are paying their hard-earned money to come see you out for the night. Like, they deserve a good show. You have to give them a good show. How can you not give a fuck how it goes? And I didn't understand what he was saying. He meant confidence. Like, you have to not give a fuck what they think and trust and know that you're funny and you're going to give them a good show. And not every show is going to go your way. That's what he meant by not give a fuck. And I think Chappelle found that. He had he had such a roller coaster of a career of like severe ups and severe downs that eventually he just stopped caring in the most healthy way possible. And now that confidence just kind of like seeps through.
And I do think I've always thought it was analogous, word alert, of a guy going into a singles bar and really wants to get laid. And not going to happen. Yeah. And the guy goes in and doesn't really give a fuck. Well, we'll see what happens. Boom. It's applicable to so many things in life, but that is a good way to go to. But I'm such a people pleaser. I feel terrible if I don't levitate the room. If I don't get a standing ovation, I get cranky. But I'm not that cranky. I do something you might find funny. So I started playing the guitar at the end of my stand-up because I just, they were tired, and then I do this big zing, and then I hold my guitar up by the neck way up, and when I do that motion upward, I'm like 12 feet tall. And then I usually will get a standing ovation once I do that move. So you could use that if you want.
I have a guitar on stage that I never play, and it just lifted at the very end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's funny.
As a funny prop? Yeah.
I'll keep it. I'll have like several. I'll have a saxophone, a guitar, a keyboard, and just throughout.
Then
the
you
set,
go, guys. It's been an hour 10. I never got time to do the music, but next time. And then they're like, "Wait, what?"
I will sing the best of Perry Como.
We got to talk about Lucid, Dana. We got to talk.
No. Let's get on to your your specials on Netflix.
It seems like there was one a year ago. Was that a year ago? It was pretty recently.
Yes. Last November, Natural Selection.
Hey, look at that. That's pretty quick.
Well, that's why I kind of wanted to do the crowd work, because I was like, I can do that anywhere, anytime.
It's great.
It's not reliant on me building a set.
So with Lucid, your first kind of coming out on Netflix is kind of a, it's a big deal to get a giant special. And there was controversy about that. People said, ask about the controversy. I mean,
that's the
that was with Natural Selection. Yeah,
that was the first one.
That's Natural Selection, not Lucid. Sorry. I always call it the crowd work special. I don't know. How many are there?
Lucid is the new one. And I was watching. Great. Go ahead, Danny.
I just call it the crowd work special.
Sure.
That works.
That's more than like, but you may have, it's better. Lucid's better. So anyway, to the first one. What did that do for you? That was your first big Netflix special.
The first one, it taught me that if people see they will exploit any chink in your armor as possible. I love that special. I think it's really funny. I had some problems with the production of it, but the material in it, I fucking liked. I think it's really funny. And there was some controversy around the beginning of the special, which was total bullshit, by the way. I learned that we live in a society where it's like, it's cool to hate something. Like, we latch onto one thing in a certain moment a couple of times a year. And I got to be that thing that people went, aha, This is awful. He's a piece of shit. This isn't funny. He's the worst person in the world. And the only reason I know that wasn't a real thing was because at least 1 million people have watched that special since January, right? No one's complained about it since January. Not one single person has written a bad tweet. Not one person has written me a mean comment. Nothing. It was purely a pop culture outrage that people knew. This was also at a point in time in my career that if you just mentioned my name in your video or even just the title of one of your videos, you would get 1 million views. Like, I was able to make other people famous. So it was a bullshit controversy. It wasn't a real thing. I didn't do anything wrong. So it was just a learning experience really for me, but it was a fun special. I liked it.
It did work on my TikTok when I mentioned you a lot.
Just
hashtag, just a hashtag. I didn't really mention you.
It works for Jesselyn too, and Marin.
I've legally changed my name to Matt Rife as we've been doing.
Hashtag Matt Rife.
My attorney just confirmed it. Yep, I'm Matt Rife with 2 Fs. So I don't know.
Your credit score just went down.
But yeah, that social media just obviously it's the dark side of humanity. You just came out of nowhere to some people, and you were incredibly successful. Obviously,
some people go, "That's enough. That's enough."
You're young.
Oh, absolutely.
You're handsome. You're handsome. I mean, comedians are usually kind of funny looking, or average. So you're handsome. You wear it on your sleeve. You're funny, and I think that people come out of the woodwork. I don't like this guy. He's too successful, but. It's
people go, you got too big for your britches. And you're like, you gave me the britches.
Yeah.
That's your 3rd special. You gave me the britches. Hey.
I don't really play up my handsome card. I sort of just wear a hat. I cruise around. Anyway, other than that.
So then
this on Lucid, I don't know why I want to keep jumping to Lucid.
No, this is Lucid is happening right now.
It's the new one.
Yeah.
And
just came out.
Like the beginning, it looks cool. I couldn't sit on a stool for an hour. You're comfortable. You got a green hoodie that pops. And you talk a little bit, and it is crowd work, but it seems just a couple questions. Crowd is lit from underneath too. Like at the tables, are there like little like candle-ish things to give them some light, right? Because the whole thing is designed so we're going to talk to the crowd. So anyone in the crowd can talk. Yeah. Which just makes it really fun for them. They start out as a good crowd right off the bat, which I thought, I've had a special where they're not good right off the bat, and you're like, "This is my fucking special. You're paying extra to see me. Like it's unreal."
The worst audience is always the time
because they're looking at the cameras. They're like, "I'm going to be part of it," and then they're nervous. Something about a special sometimes tightens people up. But I remember just the first couple laughs. I go, "Oh fuck, I'd be in a good mood if I was him because they're having fun. They like him already. Then you start going after the first guy, and then you talk a little bit." And then you start going after someone else. But I like that way it was shot. I guess, do you hide cameras coming this way, or do they see them coming at them?
No. So have you done the Charlotte Comedy Zone?
I have not. That was in Charlotte. Yeah, I haven't done it.
Okay. So the Charlotte Comedy Zone is kind of like the original Columbus Funny Bone, where it's very low ceilings, about 350 people. And I chose that club. I had to do it in a comedy club because for the sake of production, everybody needed to be able to hear everybody.
Absolutely.
Like I knew if I talked to somebody in the back of the room, the people in the front of the room needed to be able to hear it for the taping at least.
Yeah.
And this club, the walkway on stage is behind black curtains from the very side of the room all the way to the behind the stage where you come out. And I knew, because I've been playing that club since I was like 16, that I could poke cameras through the black curtains and we could hide them from a lot of people and hide them from the other cameras.
Yeah, good. I didn't see him.
I'm just before we go a little further, because I'm interested in maybe very quickly what you didn't quite like about the production on the previous one, but this one, the beginning is great. You, Mamas and Papas, dream a little dream.
Yeah.
I mean, then I'm already like, this is not a normal special, and it feels so good and dreamlike, which becomes your theme. Because that was the other thing I thought. Okay, you had the guy with the weird shoes. You're doing all your stuff, and then you're just sort of talking. Yeah. And I'm going, okay, how? No one is yelling out at this moment.
Yeah,
how is he going
to? So they can get rowdy. That's the fear. They get too rowdy.
They could get rowdy, but it was. I thought it was inspired to say, I want to hear about people's dreams. Like that's such a great hook to then get people talking. So Anyway.
Well, that was kind of the deal with Netflix. Like they were obviously interested in doing something with crowd work for me, and I totally agree, but they were like, we don't want it to just be like a highlight reel of you talking to random people about random things. Like there needs to be a theme to the show. So I spent a couple of months playing with different themes, and it needed to be something everybody can contribute to. And everybody has a dream. Every single person has or has had some kind of aspiration. So I went on, I did 4 weekends. And by weekends, I mean Monday, Tuesdays, the only 2 days I've had off for the past year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go to comedy clubs near where I was playing theaters, and I would test it out. I would do entire crowd work shows, which I'd never done before. Like crowd work is such a small part of my actual live show. I do like 10 minutes of it maybe throughout the show. And it's perfectly placed. Like it has to do kind of like Red Flags, where it's like it has to do with the bit that I'm already talking about. It's not at total random usually. So I had to feel what it felt like to try to improv for an entire hour. And I also needed to kind of make sure people had dreams that they wanted to talk about. And I didn't know if they were going to be super generic, like just a firefighter or sports player or a musician. I didn't know if it was going to be like, the generic kinds that were going to get old.
Enough to jump on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but going and doing these 8 warm-up shows or 8 weekends that I did, that's when I realized, you're right. They could be super fucking rowdy. Like there were some shows that I was like, this taping might be a terrible idea. Right. We might not get anything.
Because some people really want to be part of the show and they keep yelling, and you're like, if they're
and alcohol plays a piece in that too.
Yeah, and that's never the person who offers the most interesting interaction. It's always the least assuming person. Yeah,
when you're just doing your act, you look over and someone has decided to involuntarily stand up and start yelling stuff, and then you're like, "We got a situation here,"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So go ahead.
I'm trying to answer. You asked 3 questions in one. Dreams
Production
was something everybody could contribute to.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I didn't like about the production and natural selection was just the editing. We went back and forth with the editor a lot. The first 15 minutes was chopped so quickly, and that I didn't like. I felt like a lot of the air was taken out of beats in jokes.
You need it.
And you fucking need it. When I watched it on Netflix when it first came out and I was so fucking excited, I checked my Netflix like 4 times because I thought I was watching it in fast forward. Because so much of the air had been taken out just with camera angles and
they cut it like switches. It's a TikTok video or like it's something on where they go.
Yeah,
no attention.
I hated that, and I don't blame anybody. It was a group effort on that, but it was my first big special, and I could have done that a lot better.
Yeah, I've been in that situation, and I said, "You're making an audience member is in a magic chair. That all of a sudden I'm the size of an ant. The next cut is full face and screen. Then it's a hard left angle. I mean, what the fuck? We already figured out the money shot, the Johnny Carson, what they call the cowboy shot." Moving, just that's your primary shot. So the last special I did, they go, we didn't really get the cowboy shot. So they did not have any of that shot. They had head to toe or just neck up. So yeah,
it was experimental.
Again,
so that's a learning experience.
So what I guess I wasn't even thinking, but when I saw Lucid, it just seemed very organic, very real, like you're there. Wasn't cut to pieces and tight close-ups. It was just very comfortable, and also being in a hoodie on the stool denotes casualness. Like
I like when you tell the crowd, if this doesn't work, it's equally your fault.
Oh, thank you. Because the first critic review when that trailer came out was Matt Rife's already blaming his audience for how bad this is going to be.
That's true.
You're kidding.
Swear to God. I'll send you the article.
I like that.
Wow, that's so ridiculous. It's funny. Like what they
looking forward to a career in this.
I like the Twin Towers joke. I'm not gonna go through all the jokes, but I think people, crowd work, it can get looked down upon with comics, or they can get looked up upon because how fucking hard it is. It's too hard for me to do. I do it a tiny, tiny bit, but doing your act on the road, and you're sharpening little tiny corners, and it's hard to focus. But when you have to focus on every goddamn thing that's going on with crowd work. What they're saying, what the reaction is, how to call back the last guy, what he's tied into this, make sure that guy's not moving. Why is that weight just walking over there? And you're just trying to do that for an hour. It's hard. So there's something to that to keep it going. Did you have to do 2 shows? I was thinking, how would you do 2 shows? Because people know the crowd now.
Well, that was the biggest thing in the edits. We had multiple tapings where I was like, this could be the entire thing. So you had to go, obviously you go through and you're like, okay, what's going to be the best ones? And we ended up having to use predominantly the first show we did because we obviously wanted everything to look the same, right?
Yeah.
We didn't want exactly what you were just saying, where you see the front row is one person in a bright red hoodie. And obviously I recognize that guy. And then
the big cowboy
the next shot
guy.
is, exactly.
The guy with the giant shoes.
And the flow of it, you know what I mean? Like I didn't want to go from, a blowjob story to talking about something so drastically different that didn't match the flow of the show. So a lot of it wasn't editing that we were like, we're just going to have to use predominantly one show.
And usually one show is the best. Sorry, Dana, but usually one show stands out. Go ahead, Dennis.
No, I was just saying that you're doing your special. And then you get an occupation of a woman who teaches other women how to perform oral sex. I'll just say it that way.
Gift from comedy gods, dude.
Yeah,
and then you're like, okay, let's unpack. I mean, you're like, you must have thrown a little bit of a party in your head for a second. Like, okay, here we go. Because
do you move that up front?
She was the first interaction.
I was thinking that'd be great because I would have, if that happened later, I'd probably go, let's get the crowd going right away. Let's throw that right up front.
Oh, I definitely would have moved it, but she was the first, and I was like, oh, we're gonna have fun.
And then it was her daughter over here, and she was sitting separately, which was funny.
I couldn't fucking believe it. Her just mentioning that, I was like, oh, we've got 10 minutes, we're good.
Yeah,
and the mom sitting on the other side of the room was so fun.
And then everything she said was funny. The
amount of people who think that's fake is so funny to me. I'm like, you don't
couldn't
think I
really fake it because it was such odd answers.
Couldn't fake it, couldn't plan it.
I wouldn't write her to say those things. I would make it different, but just her answers were weirder and weirder. And then she was a gift. Yeah.
No, it was great. They were a gift. The boots were a gift.
Oh.
But then you also get. I was so happy that we kept in the lady who had like the daddy issues at the very end, the girl who looks like Joaquin Phoenix and Joker, just because she was spouting fucking nonsense, and I got to have just an authentic moment of acknowledging like, you're not always going to get a good answer. Not every interaction is funny, and sometimes you get fed some bullshit, and we had to keep that in.
So you have all this variables in the show rather than just couples that are going to break up 3 in a row. There's all these different modalities. And, I just thought it was nicely done too at the end where you kind of froze on the people and said what they're going to do with their life or whatever in the closing credits.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That's a nice touch. So it was, I just wonder how some of your peers would think about this, like, because you're the first one to do a pure crowd work, at least for Netflix, right?
It's the first one they've produced. Todd Barry had one in 2015, which was fucking great. But this is the first one that Netflix produced. They acquired his.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
But also like Andrew Schultz has done a crowd work special before. Yeah. He did one like the DC Improv. I did one on YouTube 2 years ago as well. All red flags. So I mean, it's been done before, but this was the first one on this scale, I suppose.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah,
Dan, anything else for this guy?
No, I just think that was a really cool idea.
Good idea.
Thanks, man.
And it worked out great. We're fans. We think you're extremely talented. You've earned everything you got, and this is where we get sincere and tear up a little bit. No, but be proud of yourself. And your grandpa's looking down. He's around. He's here, and just keep doing what you're doing. I wouldn't know what to say. I just think. Haters gotta hate, but I think that's probably how everyone's used to you and they've seen 2 great specials. I think we're all over any kind of.
It gets corny to make fun of you at a certain point. They're like, all right, we did that. That's over. Yeah. Let's move on. It's working. Something's working over there.
Well, thank you, man. And I can't thank you guys enough for even wanting me to do the pod, man. You guys, this is gonna sound sappy and corny, but you guys are genuinely like the reason I do comedy. Like growing up watching you guys are my fucking idols. So thank you so much for having me do this.
Damn.
Thank you, bud.
Well,
of course,
appreciate it. I'll
man.
see you out there. And
Yes,
take
sir.
care of
I'll see you around.
yourself.
all right, man.
Thanks,
Have a
man.
good day. Pleasure.
Bye, Dan.
Later, you guys.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all the stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss Berman of Odyssey, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman.